G'day viewers, it's Michael here again for SingleRacer. Welcome back. Now, I'm known jokingly in my family as the waffler, so being speechless is not something that comes naturally to me, but I've been speechless twice this week, and for different reasons. The first one is when I first put on the Oculus Rift headset and was just literally blown away by what it can do. I'm still blown away, it's quite amazing. But the second one is when I watched a video by Mike Smith over at SimRacing 604, who did a kind of more or less straight out tribute video to me, and literally within 2 days doubled my subscriber base. So I just can't thank him enough. I'm very flattered and honoured, and so I say to you personally, Mike, thank you so much for doing that. And but to be honest, viewers, I think he did it deliberately as a way for me to take it easy on him in the next channel challenge. And if he thinks that's going to happen, he's got another thing coming. And so, viewers, I mentioned in my last video that I couldn't get initially Assetto Corsa to work under the Oculus Rift, but that did turn out to be just a setting that I wasn't aware of, which I'd like to share with you for anyone thinking of getting a Rift. But also for people that might already have the Rift but not sure or not aware that you could do this. But I wouldn't say I stumbled on it, but I wanted to test if it works, and it does, and it could unlock a whole new potential for how you use your Rift. So I'd like to show you that as well. But just in regards to the Rift, the thing that surprised me is I have like it's like a third bedroom that's a small room that I use as the computer room, and I was worried that the distance, which is about say 5 to 6 feet, wouldn't be enough for the sensors. So I bought the Oculus Rift bundle that comes with the two sensors, and not only did it work well as the controllers, but what staggered me about the Oculus Rift was how you could completely turn around. So in other words, my back are to the sensors which are on the left and the right of the desk, and it worked perfectly. And you have this, not only the whole area in front of you that's like 3D, but behind you as well, and at no time did it ever cut out or not work or anything like that. So it's quite amazing. So let me show you those two tricks that I stumbled on now. And so here we are in the typical Steam menu, and I think what threw me initially was I did a little bit of research before I got the Rift delivered, and one of the things that I kept reading was that the Rift wouldn't work in the Assetto Corsa menu. Now you've got to think that Project Cars 2 was designed to always be a VR experience, whereas Assetto Corsa naturally came out before or during that time, so maybe didn't have its VR thing built into the game. I'm not really sure, but one of the things that people kept saying was that you don't have it in the menu. So you start the game off, and then when you start racing, that's when you put your headset on, and that's what was always in my head. So if I show you here, Project Cars has these two choices. Either through Steam VR, which is its own kind of lobby looking room, and then you could use the Oculus to start the VR experience. But in Assetto Corsa, it doesn't have anything like that, and that's where I was a little bit stumped, because I kept trying the race as people, or a hot lap or anything like that, as people were suggesting, and nothing was happening. So let's now go into the menu and take it a step further. And so here we are in the Assetto Corsa menu, and the loading screens are blank purely because I'm doing this offline just for recording purposes. And so the simple and logical thing which you don't think of, because when you first get an Oculus Rift, it can be quite overwhelming with all the information you've got to take in. So your brain is a bit scrambled sometimes, but All it is what happens is you're not only connected with the Rift through a USB cable, but also a HDMI cable as well. And that's one of the conditions, is you must make sure you've got a HDMI port on your graphics card in order to run the Rift. So all it ended up being was that when it's connected and you then go to video, then it becomes the option in here through a choice. So you initially, of course, in the normal game, you don't get that choice. So I just wasn't aware that it becomes a choice once it's connected, and then it'll work. But it's still the same thing applies, is that you still won't get anything in the menu. And what happens in your screen is you're in the it's like a 3D room that you get on the Oculus website, and all you do is you have your headset sitting on the top of your head, and you go to start your typical race, pick a race, a car on a track, and when you start the race, then you enter a different mode. And if you do recording, you got to go into game capture mode. So that's when it becomes through the headset, and you just put the headset on and you'll have the incredible VR experience once you start racing. And so now we're in a paused saved replay from ages ago in Assetto Corsa. And the previous tip was for anyone maybe thinking of getting the Oculus Rift, especially with a $100 off deal. But this tip that I want to give you now is for possibly any Oculus Rift owners that might not have been aware that you could do this. And this could apply to other VR users as well, although, I obviously can't test that myself. But when you are recording for creating a video for YouTube, you would start the video here. Now, I've deliberately chosen the last camera angle of the external camera 9. And when you set out to do your recording, you would flick through these choices and just pick which camera angle you most prefer to do your video. And I would often go to the obvious one, the internal cockpit view. But what I discovered with the Oculus Rift is that the headset and what you see is actually almost like just another replay. In other words, you can use the Oculus Rift even in an old saved replay that you had from years ago that can still work in the Oculus Rift headset. So what I want to do now is I want to give you 4 random examples, hopefully very varied, and show you how that can work even on your old replays from many years ago. So let me show you that now. Okay viewers, so now where I'm at is I'm in an old saved replay. This was actually my Sweet Sounds of Supercars video that I just never deleted. Now, as always, I've got good and bad things in that. The bad thing is I can't get the Yeti microphone and the headset and all the sounds to work at the same time, because I get this horrible echo trying to record through the headset. But the good thing is that I never knew that the Oculus Rift actually comes with an audio recording as well. So it might sound a bit thin, but it'll have to do for now while I use this as an example. So here we are in the old replay, but I have the wheel on, but it's not plugged in. So I'm using it as kind of a placebo effect, as if you wanted to redo a replay, but using the Oculus Rift VR panning of the headset. So let me start this replay off and I'll show you now. So imagine this as a serious race, and I'm ready to go, and I've got my hands on the wheel, but like I said, it's not connected. The turning of the wheel is just what was in the original replay, and I can look around, so I can mimic an actual race but using an old replay, which is just fantastic. So I can, I could tilt the head, anything that sort of mimics the feeling there, I could, whoa, There I go, around the corner. So that wasn't supposed to happen, so here I go, I start again. Now I may as well leave that in. I thought I was at this point, but it's a great example then of how you could do it. And look at this, that beautiful car up in front. I just can't get over that you could just mimic an old replay as though you were having a current race. Just incredible. So let's see if I pull up besides one of these cars. I could do like, Assetto Corsa has the old button panning, but I could just look over like that and then just look back as though I'm just in a realistic race. It's quite incredible that this offers this feature. That it's basically, so what it's doing is just acting like that extra camera. So you could just use any old replay, you could go through what you might still have saved. And look at that, I can look at the side there. And so I think the blue one crashes here, yep. So let's go now to another example in a different kind of situation. And so here we are for a stroll down the countryside in our local drop top, casual drive down the country. Now, one thing I learnt, because I just watched back the replay to make sure the previous one was working, was that it's a lesson that my brother learnt when he first bought his new camera, was the panning all over the place and you end up getting dizzy. So any of you watching this, you can see now that I'm trying to keep my head more still, but have a look at this beautiful car here. Just amazing, the old drop top. So we have a casual look around, and now I'll start this, and now just imagine a casual stroll down the country. I'll try and get that mouse out of the road. Just incredible. Now I just want to make sure I pass one of these cars, because like I said, I have the steering wheel on the desk, but it's not actually plugged in. So the whole steering wheel movement, all the gear changes and all that is just from the old original replay. So hopefully we'll catch up with one of these cars. Let's have a nice look around, and I'll do the old what my brother learnt from his camera thing is just to pan nice and slowly. GeForce GTX, yes, that's what I'm running. Thank you for the advert. Look at the beautiful mountains there. We've got the dials on the right hand side showing there. So come on Mick, drive a bit faster please. This must have been an old replay when I couldn't drive that well. So what I wanted to do, there might be a few behind me. Oh yes, there is. So I just looked in the mirror. Now that was stupid. I could have just looked in the mirror. But what I wanted to do is I'm acting like a passenger now. Because I'm not actually driving, I can just look over, look in the back shelf. Hang on, I think I left some chips there. No, I didn't. Hey, how you going? I'm beating you. I've got my finger up, but you can't see it. Come on, guys. Can't catch me, can you? Anyway, so that's a cool drive down the country, checking out the scenery. Let's move on to the third one now. Oh, hear that motor straining. We definitely got to go out of this one. So let's move on. Okay, now the first one was a serious race and the second one was a casual drive down the country. But let's go to a couple of stupid ones now. And I'll start this replay deliberately with my head in the air, and oh look, I'm driving a lawnmower. How come I'm on a lawnmower against supercars? Because I'm the greatest driver in the world, that's right. So you could just have some silly fun with it. Here I go. Now this lawnmower is a great mod, but it was never developed fully, as the creator openly admits. So I don't know if you can see it here. I get some sort of interference there with the black lines, so that's just one example. Can I see the back? Yeah. Oh gee, I better not touch that exhaust pipe. Don't want to get a burnt hand. So yep, this is as silly as you could possibly get, but I think I'll get even sillier in the next one. So let's try that. Look at that beautiful car control on a lawnmower. You can't get better than this, can you? Okay, let's check out the next one. Okay folks, so I'm being a bit silly here, but this is my was an old video that I called The Wacky Races, just a mock-up of the old TV show. And I'm in a car that is on race department called The Outlaw. Now, this was taken from a really old game. It might have been R-Factor, but I just can't remember, but it says it on race department. And this was another mod that wasn't developed. But see here, you can see it's all skewed. I'm actually in cockpit mode, but because this wasn't a fully developed mod, I'm sitting virtually underneath the super blower here. So what I want to deliberately show you with this one is that although this is the Oculus Rift acts like a independent camera, you could also combine it with another camera. So in other words, the only thing is that once you change to that camera, you're stuck with it. So you don't get the choice in the menu anymore. So you kind of have to pre-select the camera you want to view. But as an example, if we start the race now, I'll just wait till the car starts up, and then I'll change it to a third-person view, as though I'm mimicking, say, an old console game. The difference here is I still have the VR support, so I can see all around me. He's not going to start. There we go. So again, I missed that. I was trying to find the correct positioning in the replay because sometimes, you know, the replay just goes wrong. So these were all the silly cars. You can see the lawnmower, which I punt out of the road very quickly. He gets in my way too much, and there he goes. See you later. And I've got all these silly mods, as well as a few Assetto Corsa mods all mixed in with this one. So we have the incredible truck mod there. There's two types. There's the open tray one, and in the front the stairs that you would get at the airport. So just a crazy way of using it in another way. And over she goes, and there we go. We can even look up at the air balloon up in the sky. Just amazing how you can just completely use your imagination. And you could just literally take all your replays and just consider different ways to show them. So let's move on to the final one now, and I'll show you another great way to use it. Okay folks, so now we're in one of my replays where I feature the absolutely brilliant GP Legends mod by Bazza and Dr. Doom's lab. Now, here is another way you could use the replays, the old replays, assuming that you had one of these saved. Now, what it was this was before I had my microphone, and I used to do like a kind of a don't do this at the start, just to have something varied as well as the race. So what I'm going to show you now is a crash and how you could use a different way to show a spectacular crash using an old replay, but using the Oculus Rift headset. So let me start it off. So here I come into the corner, and we're going to have a big typical Grand Prix Legends crash as usual. So I've started a bit earlier to just to give you the feeling of what it's like, so you can have a look at the brilliant car. And so let's I've started a bit earlier than I thought, so let's mimic as though we were in a race. You know, you could just do the old tilt panning head. And as we come now onto the straight, we have this big multi-car collision, and I'll show you a great way, because I know what's coming up, to show it off. So all I can do is just stick my head out the side here. Oh, I'm coming, bang, there we go. Oh no, look out, look out, look out. And here we go, all around. Oh, I spun around, and I just watch all the rest of the cars go flying by. See ya. Let's have a look at the motor here. Okay, there's the trumpets again. Okay, see ya. Well, I'm stuck here, so I hope you enjoyed this, but let me just show you one more car, because I raced online and I was just literally blown away by how 3D this car looked. Okay viewers, now as I wrap up this video, I'm paused again in one of my old replays, and what I can't express enough is just how phenomenal this is. Now, unfortunately, you just won't see it in the replay, although you'll see my head movement. But the thing is that one thing I noticed in all games, especially when you compare them to other games, is the most common comment underneath the video is, what is the physics like? How does it handle? Does this game handle better than this game? Etc, etc, etc. But the difference between a 2D or monitor type game and racing with any kind of virtual reality headset is that I have always felt that as good as the physics are in any game, you still arguably are playing a game. And I swear, with this headset on, I feel like I'm sitting in the car. You just, if you haven't experienced it, you can't explain it. So an example is, even though this is a replay, I've got it obviously paused at the moment, is I can still look out of the car and look at the details of the tyres, the airflow of that vent there, the suspension, all that, in an year-old replay. Now, this was a duel. This is probably, I haven't tried all cars, but probably the best car. This is the Crossbow in the headset. Now, this is personal opinion, of course, and I'm chasing that Audi up in the front there. So let's finish off. I'll say goodbye, and this is just awesome. I hoped this video helped those people that have a headset already and didn't know you could do any of this. So let's start off, and we'll finish the race with this final bit of the duel on the Nordschleifer. Okay folks, see ya. Oh, where'd he go? There he is. And the panning, I could just tilt my head as though I'm mimicking the body movements in a race. There's a tower coming up here shortly. I'm a bit further back. Let's wave to the crowd. Hey, how you going? Thanks for coming, thanks for watching. You just wanted to watch me crash, but I'm not crashing. Now here comes the tower. We'll say hi to these officials that do a great job usually. Oh, he's not in the tower. Missed him. What does this green button do? I don't know. Was it the green or the blue for the windscreen wipers? I can't remember. That reminds me, I've got to get that suspension checked. Oh, sorry about that. So as we come onto the straight, like I said again, I just can't get over the feeling of being in a real car. It is just awesome. So as we cross the start-finish line on the tourist version of the track, let's head into the pits now. I'll just check out the mountain. There's no... Oh yes, there's a air balloon there. Beautiful. So let's drive into the pits. So thanks for the race, and I'll catch you next time. Okay, see ya. Bye.